All right, let's dive right into today's explainer. We're looking at the technical blueprint for surviving a massive shift in how the internet actually works. We are moving away from traditional search engines and straight into the era of answer engines. Think ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. If you want your brand to be recommended in this new agentic economy, traditional SEO just isn't going to cut it anymore. All those expensive keywords and backlinks, they mean absolutely nothing to a bot that can't easily read your site. You have to build what we call a VIP lane for AI bots. So let's get started. Here is our roadmap for the explainer. We'll cover the AI visibility black hole, building the VIP lane, selective markdown routing, implementing LLMs.txt, and finally getting to that 100% ingestion accuracy. Starting off with Section 1, the AI visibility black hole, and exactly why AI ends up guessing your data. So, I want you to think about how modern websites are actually built today. They're beautiful, right? Highly visual, packed with interactive elements. But ask yourself, what happens when a machine, specifically an AI bot, tries to read all that human-centric code? Well, when an LLM hits a literal wall of complex JavaScript, pop-up forms, and cascading style sheets on your pricing page, it gets completely blindsided. How on earth does it figure out what you charge when the numbers are buried in what developers call DOM noise? That document object model is essentially the structural code making your site look pretty for us humans, but for a bot, it acts like a chaotic, completely unreadable maze. And here's the kicker. When confronted with all that code bloat, the AI doesn't just throw its hands up and quit. It guesses your prices. And yeah, usually incorrectly. Since LLMs are predictive text models designed to fill in the blanks, a confused bot will confidently hallucinate facts. Just imagine the absolute panic of a CEO realizing an AI is quoting a competitor's lower price for their premium product, all because the bot got tripped up by a flashy animation on their own homepage. Nightmare, right? The scale of this problem is honestly staggering. A massive 60% of B2B sites currently have broken AI crawl paths. Let that sink in for a second. That means 60% of the time, top-tier brands are literally feeding these multi-billion parameter models bad data by default. You're losing enterprise deals simply because your website's architecture won't let the AI see the truth clearly. You are basically forcing the smartest systems in the world to guess. So the crucial takeaway here is understanding the stark contrast between the two different webs we now have to design for. On one side, you've got the human web, heavy HTML, DOM noise, JavaScript bloat, visual-first design. On the other side, the machine web. This requires stripped-down, token-optimized Markdown, utilizing structured query-answer pairs. Basically, token optimization means stripping away literally everything except the raw text and structure. Doing this drastically reduces the tokens, or computational chunks, the AI has to process to actually understand your page. Traditional SEO served humans, but Generative Engine Optimization, or GOE, serves machines. All right, moving on to Section 2, building the VIP lane and the technical infrastructure behind it. To guarantee absolute accuracy, we literally have to bypass the human website entirely. We need to build this VIP lane specifically for models like GPT-4 and Claude. Instead of forcing them to wade through your flashy homepage, you serve them a stripped-down, purely factual text file, what we call your vectorized brand constitution. This holds your core features, your limitations, and your exact pricing in a format they natively understand. Think of it like ushering the AI through a private backdoor, completely avoiding the chaotic general admission line. This stops those hallucinations right at the source. That brings us to Section 3, selective markdown routing, or how we dynamically serve the machine web. Now, this is the exact process to implement Markdown routing for AI bots, and it's drawn straight from standard server middleware logic. Think of your middleware like a digital bouncer at the front door of your website. Step 1. Your server checks the incoming requests headers to detect the AI bot's user agent string. Step 2. If it recognizes a known crawler, like, say, GPT-bot or Claude-bot, it intercepts that request immediately. In Step 3, instead of returning all that heavy HTML, the server dynamically routes the bot to a dedicated API endpoint, something like API geo/markdown view. This endpoint delivers a pre-rendered, token-optimized Markdown file. You're giving the AI exactly the raw data it craves, instantly. And this interception isn't just about accuracy. It's a massive efficiency play. AI models consume Markdown flawlessly. By stripping out all that heavy DOM noise, you're reducing the token consumption required to read your page by up to 40%. That is huge. You are effectively subsidizing the AI's compute cost to learn about your brand. You make it cheaper, faster, and infinitely easier for the algorithm to process exactly who you are and what you do. So what's the return on that efficiency? Well, because there is zero noise confusing the model, feeding bots this optimized format improves your brand's citation accuracy by 3 times. The AI stops guessing, it stops hallucinating, and it actually starts citing your exact current facts. It is literally the difference between an answer engine recommending you with absolute confidence versus totally ignoring you because your data was just too convoluted to parse. Let's look at Section 4, implementing LLMs.txt, basically the robots.txt for AI models. If you remember robots.txt from the old days of traditional SEO, LLMs.txt is the modern equivalent for AI. It's an emerging open standard that acts as a standardized, machine-readable summary of your entire website. So how do you actually implement it? It just sits right in the root directory of your site. It explicitly tells AI crawlers exactly how your brand should be summarized, what your core features are, and what your pricing is. It's written in standard Markdown and contains direct links to your most vital documentation, effortlessly cutting right through the noise of your standard human-facing sitemap. The implementation standard actually requires you to balance 2 distinct files here. First up, the primary LMS.txt file. This needs to be a concise snapshot of your brand, strictly kept to around 500 tokens. Think of it as your elevator pitch for the bot. Second, you provide an lms.full.txt file. This is your comprehensive, uncapped data dump for when the model needs to do a really deep dive into your technical documentation. Providing both of these ensures the AI has a quick reference guide and an exhaustive encyclopedia. Now, to truly master this infrastructure and build out the ultimate VIP lane, developers really should implement these advanced tactics too. You want to optimize your XML sitemaps specifically with AI priority tags. You also need to strategically manage your robots.txt to allow the right bot classes in while configuring rate limiting so aggressive bots don't crash your server. You can even set up dedicated API endpoints for direct agentic access, which ensures models can query your live database for things like current inventory without scraping web pages at all. Pretty cool, right? Finally, Section 5, achieving 100% ingestion accuracy by deploying Phase 1. Let's see how this all builds week by week to ensure that perfect ingestion process we talked about. In week 1, you've got to run a full diagnostic audit of your current crawl paths to identify exactly where that DOM noise and JavaScript bloat exist. Moving to week 2, your developers deploy the middleware.ts logic to instantly detect and intercept those AI bots. In week 3, you build and deploy your lms.txt and lmsfull.txt files to serve as that definitive ground truth. And by week 4, you have completely bypassed the noisy human site. Because you're serving token-optimized Markdown directly through dedicated routing and structured text files, there is absolutely zero room for misinterpretation. You achieve 100% ingestion accuracy. The AI isn't struggling through a chaotic web page anymore, it's reading your definitive truth. As traditional search inevitably gives way to answer engines, the way we structure data online has fundamentally changed forever. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. If the agentic economy makes standard HTML completely obsolete for discovery, is your architecture actually ready for the machine web, or are you still just building for human eyeballs? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and good luck building your VIP lane.